Lily Alvarez woke before sunrise, her alarm buzzing softly in the quiet of her tiny apartment. She swung her legs over the edge of the bed and rubbed the sleep from her eyes. Even at 22, she knew that every penny counted. In the faded blue uniform of Millstone Diner, tying her hair back with care, her shift would start at 6:30, and she could not afford to be late. She hurried through her simple morning routine, skipping breakfast because she planned to eat. At work, she packed a sandwich in a small paper bag, tucking it in her worn canvas tote. It was her only meal savings for the day. By the time Lily arrived at the diner, the morning light was just beginning to peek through the windows. Now the sign above the door still glowed closed, but inside, the janitor polished the counters, and the cook tested the coffee machine. Lily pushed open the door, greeted them both with a friendly nod, and slipped behind the counter. She placed her bag under the register and checked her reflection in the stainless steel clean apron. Bright smile. She took a deep breath, reminding herself that even though she was tired, her kindness was her greatest strength. The diner filled quickly with early customers, truck drivers and factory workers, nurses on their way to the hospital, and an elderly couple who came every morning for the same tea and toast. Lily moved from table to table with steady efficiency, jotting down orders, carrying plates of eggs and bacon, mugs of steaming coffee. She greeted each person by name when she could, learning their routines and small details. Mr. Carter, the regular in booth 3, liked extra ketchup with his hash browns. Mrs. Nguyen wanted her tea with just 1 sugar. Lily remembered these things because it made people feel seen. Around 8 o'clock, as the lunch crowd began to stir, the bell above the front door chimed differently. A small girl stepped inside, clutching a well-loved stuffed rabbit. She wore a bright pink jacket and scuffed sneakers. Her dark hair was pulled into braided pigtails. She scanned the diner with wide eyes, as if she had never been inside before. Lily noticed right away that the girl looked hungry. She hesitated at the counter, her gaze fixed on the pastry case where donuts and muffins sat behind glass. Lily watched the child's face fall when she realized she could not afford anything. Lily finished setting coffees on a nearby table and caught the girl's eye. "Hey there, sweetie," she said softly, crouching to the child's level. "Can I help you with something?" The girl shifted her weight from one foot to the other and glanced around. "I don't have any money," she whispered, her voice trembling just a bit. Lily's heart ached. She knew that feeling all too well, wanting something basic, simple, but lacking the means to pay. The little girl inched forward, peering at the lunch menu overhead. Burgers, grilled cheese, chicken soup. It all sounded so good, but each item had a price tag. Lily felt a flutter of concern. She checked the clock, still 20 minutes before her break. She reached into her tote and pulled out the small paper bag. Inside was the sandwich she had packed, 2 slices of white bread with ham and cheese, lettuce, and a smear of mustard. It was not much, but it was warm and filling, enough to carry her through a busy afternoon. Lily straightened up and called gently. "Mia, right?" She had learned the girl's name when she had walked in. Someone had let slip as they held the door for her. Mia looked up, surprise and curiosity mingling in her eyes. Lily carried the paper bag to the little table by the window and placed it gently in front of her. "I want you to have this," Lily said. "Go ahead and eat. It's okay." Mia's mouth hung open. She stared at the sandwich, then looked back at Lily. But it's your lunch," she stammered. Lily shook her head quickly. "I'll be fine. I can get something later. Right now you need it more than I do." Her voice was calm, but inside she felt a restless beat of worry. What if she went hungry later? But she could not let this child go without. Mia touched the sandwich as if it were something precious. Then she took a small bite, her eyes closing in delight. Lily watched as the child's shoulders relaxed, her hunger eased. Lily felt a warmth bloom in her chest. This was why she worked so hard, not for the tips or the thank you notes, for moments like this. She stepped back behind the counter, pretending to wipe down tables. But her attention kept drifting back to Mia. Other customers chatted, cut into their food, and left. But Lily stayed alert in case Mia's family arrived. Mia finished the sandwich more quickly than Lily expected. Lily cleaned the counter and checked her watch. She had 10 minutes before she needed to greet the lunchtime crowd. Brought Mia a glass of water and smiled. "Feel better?" Shh, asked. Mia nodded, her eyes shining. "Thank you," she whispered. Lily waved her hand as if brushing away thanks. "Anytime. Just take care of yourself, okay?" The child nodded again, and Lily turned to refill a coffee pot. Sudden rush of footsteps on the linoleum caught Lily's attention. She looked up to see a man in a dark blue suit hurrying toward the little girl. His face was tense, eyes searching the room. Lily paused, holding a tray of coffee cups. The man reached Mia in seconds and knelt down beside her. He brushed a strand of hair from her face. "Mia, sweetheart, are you okay?" he asked, his voice a mixture of relief and concern. Mia looked up at him, clutching her rabbit. "I'm fine," she said softly. Lily set the tray of cups down and watched as the man's shoulders sagged. He looked up at Lily, gratitude flooding his expression. "Thank you," he said simply. "I'm so sorry for the trouble. I had to step into a meeting. I didn't know she wandered in here." Lily shook her head. "No trouble at all. I just wanted to help." The man offered his hand. "I'm Donovan Sinclair, Mia's dad." He had a firm handshake, polite and sincere. Lily introduced herself, brushing a loose strand of hair from her face. She felt her cheeks warm under his gaze. He apologized again and insisted on paying. For Mia's sandwich, Lily refused. She had already given it away. Instead, he folded bills and placed them on the counter, covering her shift's tip jar. "Your kindness deserves more than that," he said. Lily placed the money beneath the glass, nodding. "Thank you," she said softly. Donovan asked if Mia could come again if she wanted to eat. Lily smiled, of course. He looked around the small diner as if seeing it for the first time. "This place means a lot to my daughter," he said. Lily felt pride bloom in her chest. She wanted to say more, to ask about his work or his life, but the lunch crowd pressed in. She grabbed a pad and pen and greeted the next customer. As she walked away, she heard Donovan whisper something to Mia. Lily pretended to be busy, but inside she wondered what his next move would be. By the time Lily finished her lunch break, the sandwich she had saved was gone, and her own hunger had come back. Still, she felt light, like she had given something important. She stacked dishes in the sink and busied herself with orders. Every time she saw Mia's empty seat in the corner, she remembered the girl's bright eyes and how quietly she had eaten. Lily folded napkins and wiped down the tables, thinking about how a small act could mean the world to someone else. Wondered if this day might lead to something more, but she did not let herself hope too much. For now, she would keep smiling, keep serving coffee and eggs, and keep her heart open to the next person who needed a little kindness. Lily watched Mia pick up the small sandwich and lift it to her lips. The girl's eyes grew wide with wonder as she took her first bite. Crumbs fell onto the little plate, and Mia brushed them away with delicate fingers. Lily leaned against the counter, her heart beating faster. She fiddled with the edge of her apron, smoothing the thin fabric over her jeans. She felt both happy and uneasy. Happy because Mia looked relieved. Uneasy because Lily had so little herself. This sandwich was her only lunch, the meal she had, saved with care. But seeing Mia eat, seeing that small face light up, made every sacrifice feel worth it. The diner buzzed around them. Clattering dishes, low conversation, the hiss of the grill, and the chime of the coffee machine blended into a comforting hum. Lily carried plates of pancakes and eggs to nearby tables. Sometimes glancing back at Mia, the little girl's cheeks flushed pink as she chewed, and Lily smiled softly. She remembered the day years ago when her own mother had slipped her a pancake behind the counter. Hiding it from her brothers who always ate first, Lily had felt that same warmth in her chest. She was the one giving, and the feeling was more powerful than hunger. Lily finished serving a table of construction workers and wiped her hands on a towel. She glanced at Mia again. The girl had already eaten half the sandwich, and her little rabbit toy sat forgotten on the seat beside her. Lily felt a tug of sympathy. She wondered what had brought Mia here alone. Was she lost? Had her mother sent her for groceries? Lily did not pry. Sometimes people preferred quiet help to questions they could not answer. She turned and filled a coffee pot, then delivered a fresh cup to an elderly woman who always came in at 9. As she poured, she thought about how a simple act of kindness could ripple outward. Maybe Lily's small gift would give Mia the strength to keep going through her day. Back at the counter, Lily noticed a few coins in the tip jar, but not enough to cover her own expenses. She sighed softly, remembering the rent she had to pay. At the end of the week, her part-time job at the bookstore had cut hours again, leaving her relying on these diner shifts more than ever. But she would make it work. She always did. Her eyes flicked back to Mia, who was now smiling shyly. Lily felt her chest swell with pride. Even on the hardest days, she could still bring comfort to someone else. That knowledge made her stand a little taller, her steps a little surer. Mia finally swallowed a bite and set the plate down. Her eyes met Lily's across the room. "Thank you," she said, her small voice strong and clear. Lily offered a bright smile. "You're welcome," she replied. She brushed a loose strand of hair back behind her ear and gave Mia a gentle nod. "Take your time," she added. Mia nodded, then picked up the sandwich again, determined to finish it. Lily went back to her work, carrying orders and chatting with the regulars, but her mind stayed on the little girl in the corner. One of the regulars, Mrs. Carter, leaned over the counter and said, "Nice of you to share, Lily." She was a friendly woman who came in every Wednesday with her knitting. Lily nodded. "She needed it more than I did," she said. Mrs. Carter smiled knowingly. "That's true kindness," she said. Lily felt grateful for the validation, but managed to shrug. "I just did what I could," she said softly. The older woman patted Lily's hand. "Keep that heart, dear. It will take you far." Lily tucked the comment away like a precious gem, a reminder that her small actions mattered. Back behind the counter, Lily wiped away a drop of coffee that had spilled on the tray as she carried it to a table. She straightened it and set it down, then turned to see Mia finishing the sandwich. The rabbit toy was now pressed against her cheek. For a moment, Lily saw a flicker of something: loneliness, perhaps, or hope. Lily felt her throat tighten. She remembered nights sleeping in that same loneliness, waiting for someone to notice her needs. She brushed that thought away. Mia was safe here, at least for now. Lily would make sure of it, as Lily washed mugs. In the sink, she wondered what would happen when Mia's hunger returned. Would she have another sister or brother to feed? Would she go home to a mother who struggled to pay bills? Lily felt a pang of sorrow but also determination, that she could not solve every problem, but every little bit of kindness helped. Up a half order of fries and paper and placed them on a nearby counter, thinking someone else might be hungry soon. The diner was more than a place to eat. It was a place of refuge. Warmed by simple gestures and friendly faces, a soft chime announced a new customer at the door. Lily glanced up but did not see anyone familiar. She went about her tasks, refilling sugar containers and straightening salt shakers. She kept one eye on Mia, who was now playing with the rabbit, while a small plate of crumbs lay empty before her. Lily felt her heart swell at the sight. She took a deep breath, drawing strength from this moment. She would face her own hunger later. Right now, her focus was on the little girl whose life had intersected with hers. However briefly, Lily's shift moved on, and she carried on with professional ease, taking orders, delivering meals, smiling at customers. Inside, her thoughts lingered on Mia and that quiet thank you. She wondered if Mia would remember the kindness, if it would help her believe that good people existed in her world. Lily hoped it would. She hoped Mia would pass that kindness on someday. That thought made Lily's tired muscles feel lighter. She leaned into the rest of her shift, determined to keep her kindness shining through every tray she carried and every coffee she poured. When the lunch rush slowed, Lily found a quiet moment to refill her own water glass. She stood near the soda machine, sipping, as she watched Mia carefully place the rabbit in her tote bag. The girl looked small inside that seat, but her eyes held a quiet strength. Lily felt a gentle smile curve her lips. She thought about her own dreams, going back to school, finding a career that helped people. She believed she could achieve those dreams. part because moments like this reminded her of her own resilience and compassion. Lily took a steadying breath, preparing for the rest of her shift. She wiped her hands on the towel and glanced across the room one last time. Mia was standing, gathering her things. Lily offered a friendly wave. Mia waved back. Then the little girl turned and walked toward the door, her rabbit tucked under one arm. Lily watched her go, relieved that Mia had eaten and carried something nourishing inside her. Lily turned back to her work, her heart still warm with the memory of Mia's gratitude. She wiped down the counter and straightened the menu. Cards ready for whichever customer came next, carrying that feeling of hope with her through every step. Lily cleared a stack of empty plates from a nearby table when she first heard hurried footsteps. She glanced up, expecting another regular customer, but instead saw a tall man striding toward the corner booth. His polished shoes clicked against the linoleum floor. He wore a dark blue suit, freshly pressed, with a crisp white shirt and a silk tie knotted perfectly at his throat. His hair was neatly combed, and his posture carried both authority and worry. Lily's heart flickered with curiosity. She recognized the little girl, Mia, scribbling quietly in a small notebook beside her now empty plate. The man knelt down beside Mia and brushed a loose strand of hair from her forehead. He spoke to her in a soft voice, the tone of his words gentle enough to calm her jitters. Lily caught a glimpse of Mia's face, relief mixed with embarrassment, and then looked back to the man as he stood. "Thank you," he said, his gaze shifting to Lily. His voice held a quiet intensity, as if he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. Lily found herself caught off guard. She dropped the napkin she was folding and stepped forward, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. "You're welcome," she replied softly. The man smiled, a genuine warmth flickering through his features. "I'm Donovan Sinclair," he introduced himself, extending a hand. Lily hesitated for a moment, then shook it. His grip was firm, but not overbearing. "Lily Alvarez," she said. He nodded, as if confirming something he already believed. "I can't thank you enough for helping Mia," Donovan said. He glanced at Mia, who clutched her rabbit toy to her chest. "I had to step into a meeting downtown. I didn't expect traffic to be so bad." His eyes held regret. "When I finally finished, I realized she wasn't with me." Lily noticed how his shoulders slumped as he spoke. He looked like a man accustomed to control, suddenly reminded that life did not always follow plans. Mia reached out and took his hand, and his expression softened. He turned back to Lily. "I know you didn't have to do that." "Was your lunch?" Lily swallowed. She remembered the small paper bag tucked in her tote, the one she had emptied for Mia. "I'll be fine," she said. "I skipped breakfast so I could save this for lunch." It wasn't a big deal. She tried to sound casual, but her heart pounded. She had never admitted how little she had. Donovan nodded, though his eyes remained fixed on hers. He reached into his jacket pocket and unfolded a crisp bill. "Please, let me at least cover your shift's tip jar." He placed several notes into the glass jar on the counter. "Your kindness deserves more than a simple thank you." Lily looked at the money and then back to Donovan. She wanted to refuse, but something in his gaze made her pause. He was sincere, almost pleading. She nodded and offered him a small smile. "Okay, thank you." He returned her smile, relief evident in the way his eyes softened. "I would like to invite you to lunch," he said. "My office is just a few blocks from here. It's the least I can do to repay you." Lily blinked. She had never been to a corporate office in her life, and the idea of sitting at a polished conference table in front of a suited man made her stomach twist. "I appreciate the offer, but I can't," she started, then paused. Her voice caught. She looked at Mia, who was watching them with wide eyes. "I'm proud of what I do here," Lily said. "I don't want anyone to think I need help or charity." She forced a laugh that came out awkward. Donovan stepped closer, lowering his voice. "This isn't charity," he said. "I want to learn more about you. You helped my daughter when I couldn't? That means something. I want to give you an opportunity." He touched a finger to Mia's shoulder. It means something to her, too. Lily felt a tug at her heart. She thought of the long hours she worked, juggling the diner shifts with her bookstore job, the late nights doing homework for the online classes she hoped to finish someday. She thought of her younger brother waiting at home, depending on her to pay the rent. Pride and fear warred inside her. Mia tapped Donovan's hand.
Daddy!
She's nice, the little girl said, her voice soft but clear. Lily watched Mia's small face, lit by trust she rarely saw in children who depended on appearances. Lily swallowed another nod of uncertainty. "All right," she said quietly. "I'll come." Donovan's face broke into a relieved smile. He knelt to speak to Mia and ruffled her hair. "We'll pick you up after your next shift," he told her. Mia nodded eagerly, clutching her rabbit to her chest. Lily returned to her work, her mind buzzing. She wiped a counter and stacked mugs, but her thoughts drifted to what awaited her. She pictured a tall building with glass doors, the hum of fluorescent lights overhead, and a team of professionals in sharp suits. Would they stare at her uniform and judge her? Would they ask why she worked 2 jobs? She shook her head to clear the doubts Donovan had asked, and she had agreed. That was enough for now. She needed to trust that something good could emerge from this moment. The lunch rush wound down, and Lily carried plates of half-eaten burgers to the kitchen. She remembered Donovan's words, "This isn't charity." They echoed in her mind as she handed a plate to the cook. She glanced back at the empty booth. Mia had left, but her presence lingered in the crumbs and the small footprint of kindness they had shared. The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur of orders and smiles. Lily felt lighter, as if the simple act of sharing had lifted a weight she had carried for months. Yet beneath that lightness, a new tension grew, a mixture of hope and fear about the invitation she had accepted. When her shift finally ended, Lily clocked out and gathered her tote. She stood by the door, waiting. Donovan pulled up in a dark sedan, the engine idling. Mia waved from the back seat. Lily took a deep breath and slipped into the passenger seat. The leather was cool beneath her palm. Donovan offered a polite smile and closed the door. Drive downtown, the city streets hummed with activity. Donovan pointed out landmarks: an old theater he restored, a community garden he funded. Lily listened, surprised at how much he knew about the town's hidden corners. He spoke not as a businessman boasting achievements, but as a neighbor who cared deeply for the place he called home. They arrived at a gleaming office tower. Donovan led Lily through a lobby filled with potted plants and modern art installations. Lily's steps echoed on marble floors. She felt as though she had walked into another world. Donovan stopped before a glass-walled boardroom. "Welcome to Sinclair Foundation," he said. Lily's breath caught. She stood at the threshold, her simple uniform contrasting with the polished conference table inside. Donovan held the door for her. "Come on in," he encouraged. Lily squared her shoulders and stepped across the line. Inside, a long table gleamed under soft lights. A few people looked up from laptops, men and women in suits with the foundation's logo embroidered on their jackets. They greeted Lily with polite smiles. Donovan guided her to a seat at the head of the table. He cleared his throat, then introduced her. "Everyone, this is Lily Alvarez. She saved my daughter today. I wanted you all to meet the person who reminded me why we do this work." The team applauded softly. Lily felt her cheeks warm. She bowed her head slightly. Donovan leaned forward. "Lily, tell us about yourself. What do you do when you're not at the diner?" Lily swallowed. She shared her story, working 2 jobs, studying at night, supporting her brother, dreaming of a career in nonprofits. As she spoke, she watched his team nod and take notes. No judgment, only interest. When she finished, Donovan smiled. "Your dedication inspires us. We'd like to offer you an internship at the foundation. It comes with a stipend, so you won't have to worry about money while you learn." Lily's heart raced. She opened her mouth to speak, but found no words. Donovan placed a hand on her shoulder. "Take some time to think about it. If you're interested, let us know." Lily nodded, still trying to believe what she had heard. She stood, excused herself, and left the room. In the lobby, Donovan joined her. Mia sat on a bench, swinging her legs. She looked up and smiled when she saw Lily. "Can you help me with my homework?" she asked. Lily knelt beside her, heart full. The world outside seemed to hold so many possibilities now. As they walked toward the car, Lily realized that one small simple sandwich had set in motion a chain of events that could change her life forever. She glanced at Donovan, grateful for his kindness and for seeing her, not just as a waitress, but as someone with dreams worth investing in. And she knew that no matter what happened next, she would carry that moment with her, always. Lily stood at the entrance of the Sinclair Foundation building on a bright Monday morning, clutching her worn canvas tote. Her heart pounded with excitement and nerves. She smoothed the front of her simple blouse and stepped through the glass doors. The lobby smelled faintly of fresh coffee and polished wood. A receptionist greeted her with a warm smile and pointed down a hallway lined with framed photos of community events funded by the foundation. Lily's palms tingled. This was her first day as an intern, and she felt as though she had stepped into a new world. She followed the signs to the education department where Donovan had asked her to meet. The hallway opened into a spacious office with large windows overlooking the city. Sunlight spilled in, lighting dust motes that danced like tiny fairies. A woman with kind eyes and silver-streaked hair rose to greet Lily. "You must be Lily Alvarez," she said, extending her hand. "I'm Marisol Reyes, the program director." Lily shook her hand firmly and felt her nerves ease. Marisol's voice was gentle, and her welcome felt genuine. Marisol showed Lily to a small desk by the window, complete with a computer, a stack of notebooks, and a nameplate reading "Intern, Lily Alvarez." "Take your time to get settled," Marisol said. "We have an orientation at 10. Lily nodded and sat down, staring at the screen and the papers as if they were treasures. She touched the keyboard lightly, surprised by its smooth coolness. She felt like a student again, about to learn something new and important. As she waited for orientation, Lily thought of her brother, Miguel, at home. He was 13 and depended on her. He had helped her study for her online classes and cheered her on when times were tough. Lily wondered how she would balance this new schedule with her diner shifts and classes. She reminded herself that Donovan had promised a stipend along with the internship, enough to cover some bills. That support meant so much. It was more than money. It was proof that someone believed in her potential. At 10, a small group gathered in a conference room for orientation. Marisol introduced each team member, a grants manager who spoke of funding youth centers, a community outreach coordinator who organized free health clinics, and a researcher who tracked project outcomes. They explained how the foundation chose projects, how interns like Lily would assist with research, community visits, and event planning. Lily listened carefully, taking notes. The language was new: grant proposals, impact assessments, but she felt eager to learn. She had always loved helping people, and now she could do so on a larger scale. After the orientation, Marisol guided Lily through her first task, reviewing applications for a scholarship program supporting single parents returning to school. Lily opened a folder filled with handwritten letters. One was from a single mother studying nursing, another from a father learning carpentry to provide for his 2 sons. The stories moved Lily deeply. She read about late nights spent studying, after kids' bedtime, about balancing classes with full-time work. She felt their struggles as if they were her own, and underlined passages that spoke of perseverance. Marisol returned and saw Lily's underlined sections. "You have a good eye for empathy," she said softly. "We need that when we write our recommendations." Lily's chest warmed. She realized that her own story mattered, that her empathy had value here. She spent the morning summarizing each applicant's strengths and challenges, preparing notes for the team meeting later. That day, when she finished, Marisol reviewed her summaries and offered gentle feedback, reminding Lily to highlight both academic achievements and personal resilience. At noon, Donovan stopped by the office to check on Lily. He greeted her with a friendly nod and praised her work on the scholarship applications. "You're doing great," he said. He invited her to join him and Marisol for lunch in the cafeteria upstairs. Lily hesitated. This was beyond what she expected as an intern, but she followed him. In the cafeteria, she chose a salad and a cup of soup from a buffet line, where volunteers prepared free lunches for visitors to the foundation's community center. As they ate, Donovan asked Lily about her goals. She spoke softly about finishing her degree and working with nonprofit organizations to help families like hers. He listened intently, nodding. "That's exactly why we started the scholarship program," he said. "To empower people to build better lives for themselves and their children." Lily felt a swell of pride. She knew her story now connected to a larger mission. She realized that her small act of kindness at the diner had come full circle, and she was now part of something that could help many more people. After lunch, Lily returned to her desk and opened her email. There was a calendar. Invite for a site visit that afternoon to a community garden the foundation supported. Gently, she reminded herself that her world had expanded beyond the diner. She gathered her things and joined the group on a shuttle to the garden. The ride lasted about 20 minutes, passing through neighborhoods of different incomes, storefronts, with colorful murals and busy streets where vendors sold fruits and crafts. Lily pressed her face against the window, absorbing every detail. Arriving at the garden, Lily stepped out into a sea of green. Rows of raised beds grew vegetables, tomatoes, peppers, lettuces, and volunteers tended the plants. Children from a nearby school pulled weeds between rows, giggling together. A group of seniors sat on benches under a canopy, chatting as they admired the fresh produce. Lily breathed in the scent of earth and flowers, feeling calm. Marisol introduced her to the garden manager, who explained how the foundation's grant had funded the irrigation system and greenhouses. Lily took notes as the manager described plans for expanding the garden to include a composting workshop and cooking classes for families. Lily raised her hand and asked if the foundation might help provide vouchers for fresh produce to low-income residents. The manager's eyes lit up. "That would be amazing," she said. Lily felt proud her suggestion could improve the project. Marisol smiled at her. "Great idea, Lily. Let's bring it up at the next team meeting." As the afternoon sun slanted low, Lily and the team said goodbye to the volunteers and headed back to the office. Lily felt exhilarated. She had seen the foundation's work in action and contributed ideas. She realized that this internship was more than a line on her resume. It was a chance to make real change, to lift others just as she had lifted Mia's spirits. The thought filled her with purpose. Back at the office, Lily updated her summaries and drafted a brief proposal for produce vouchers. She sent it to Marisol with a note asking for feedback. Marisol replied within minutes, praising Lily's initiative and promising to discuss it with the grants manager. Lily leaned back in her chair, her mind buzzing with possibilities. She crossed off her first day's tasks and allowed herself a small smile. Leaving the office in the early evening, Lily walked toward the nearby diner where she still worked. The air was cool, and the setting sun painted the sky in pink and gold. She felt lighter than she had in years. She remembered the first time she met Mia and the hand she reached out to help. That moment had led her here to an internship that nurtured her dreams and a community that valued her kindness. Lily realized that life could change with one simple act. At the diner, the lunch crowd had given way to dinner service. Lily punched in and slipped on her apron. Her coworkers greeted her and she felt at home again. As she moved behind the counter washing dishes and refilling ketchup bottles, she thought about the scholarship applicants and the garden volunteers. She carried their stories with her, like seeds planted in her heart. Each passenger she served that evening received not just coffee or a burger, but a little bit of Lily's hope and determination. That night, as Lily lay in bed, she reviewed the day in her mind. She had learned new skills, met mentors, and helped shape real projects. She felt fatigue in her muscles, but joy in her spirit. Tomorrow, she would return to the foundation, ready to tackle new tasks and share fresh ideas. She knew there would be challenges balancing work, classes, and family, but she believed in herself now more than ever. She closed her eyes with a peaceful smile, grateful for the journey that began with a simple sandwich and led her to this new beginning. 6 months passed like the changing seasons, and Lily Alvarez found herself walking a path she once thought unreachable. She still arrived at the Millstone Diner before sunrise, slipping into her faded blue uniform and greeting the janitor with a tired but genuine smile. The morning air was cool against her skin as she carried a tray of coffee mugs to the counter. Behind her apron, she felt a steady hum of purpose. Between shifts at the diner, she attended evening classes at the community college. After class, she hurried to her small apartment to study late into the night. Her brother Miguel often watched quietly from the doorway, offering her a cup of tea or a plate of leftovers. They had grown closer over these months, leaning on each other during long evenings and celebrating small victories. Another completed assignment, a strong test grade, or a kind word from a professor. Lily's internship at the Sinclair Foundation became a central part of her life. Twice a week, she walked the few blocks from the diner to the sleek office tower downtown. There she sat at her tidy desk and reviewed grant applications, prepared community outreach reports, and drafted newsletters. She learned to use software programs she had never heard of before and discovered how to tell a compelling story with numbers and facts. Her supervisors praised her clear writing and thoughtful ideas. When she suggested the produce voucher program for low-income families, the foundation agreed to pilot it at 3 community centers. Lily's heart swelled when she received the email announcing the program's launch date. It felt like planting a seed and watching it sprout green leaves. Even with her new responsibilities, Lily never forgot the warmth of the diner. On her days off from the foundation, she still clocked in at Millstone, greeted regular customers by name, and filled mugs with coffee. Her coworkers noticed a quiet confidence in her step. She smiled brighter, moved with ease, and had an easier laugh. Some of the older waitresses teased her gently about wearing glasses to read papers at the foundation, but Lily took the teasing in good humor. When she wore her uniform and her glasses, customers would comment, "You look smart today, Lily." She would shrug and say, "Studying keeps me sharp." The customers would smile and tip a little more generously. One crisp morning, as the diner's bell chimed and Lily carried a plate of pancakes toward a table, she spotted a familiar face in the corner booth. Mia sat quietly, her rabbit toy nestled beside her plate. The little girl looked older now, her pigtails grown into loose curls that framed her face. She had added a scarf and a knitted sweater to her bright jacket, and her eyes held a calm assurance. Lily's chest warmed at the sight. She remembered the first day she met Mia, the day she gave away her lunch. Now she carried plates with pride, knowing her life had changed in larger ways because of that small act. Mia waved shyly, and Lily waved back. She placed a plate of scrambled eggs and toast in front of her. "Here you are," she said softly. Mia's eyes lit up. "Thanks, Lily," she said. Lily knelt by Mia's table and ruffled her hair. "How are you doing?" she asked. Mia took a thoughtful bite and said, "I'm good, and my dad helps me every day now." She glanced at her rabbit toy. "We started a reading club at school. I read 2 other kids on Fridays." Lily's heart swelled with pride for Mia's courage. She had grown so much, just as Lily had. The two shared a moment of friendship that needed no words. Lily rose and returned to the counter, feeling a gentle glow. During the afternoons at the foundation, Lily saw her ideas become real. The first community center to hand out the produce vouchers she had proposed. Families lined up in the sunny parking lot, baskets in hand. Children giggled as they chose carrots and peppers, and parents thanked Lily for her help. She reminded them she was only part of the team, but they insisted she was the reason the program existed. Watching their gratitude and seeing fresh vegetables find their way into their homes filled Lily with a deep sense of purpose. Her evenings were spent in classes where she jotted notes on nonprofit management and social work. She wrote essays about community empowerment and developed a project, proposal for after-school programs. Each assignment felt like a step toward her dream to run her own nonprofit one day, to help families like hers find hope and resources. She sometimes did her homework at the diner, using a corner booth as a makeshift desk when the lunch rush slowed. Customers watched curiously as she typed away on her laptop, but they never complained. Instead, they nodded appreciatively, as if they understood the importance of her work. In the weeks leading to the end of the semester, Lily balanced final projects with extra hours at the diner. Her body felt tired, but her spirit remained strong. Miguel cheered her on from home, bringing her tea and snacks when she studied long past midnight. One evening, as Lily closed her textbooks and rubbed her tired eyes, Miguel said, "You're almost there, Lily. I'm proud of you." She smiled, touched by his encouragement. He had grown into a kind young man, resilient and caring much like his sister. At last, graduation day arrived. The community college auditorium filled with families, friends, and graduates in cap and gown. Lily's heart pounded as she adjusted her mortarboard. She scanned the crowd and saw Miguel in the front row, holding a bouquet of wildflowers for her. She felt her eyes mist. When her name was called, she walked across the stage, her steps steady and proud. She received her diploma in nonprofit studies and shook hands with the dean. In that moment, she felt the weight of her journey. The early mornings at the diner, the late nights studying, the afternoons at the foundation, and the tiny sandwich she had given away. All of it had led to this achievement. After the ceremony, Lily and Miguel walked outside into the warm afternoon sun. He hugged her tightly. "You did it," he whispered. Lily laughed, a soft, happy sound. She handed him the bouquet and said, "We did it." They posed for photos, Miguel wrapping his arm around her waist, Lily beaming. Donovan Sinclair appeared, applauding and holding Mia's hand. Mia held a sign that read, "Congratulations, Lily." The family had come to celebrate. Lily's heart filled to bursting seeing Mia's proud smile and Donovan's warm eyes. That evening, the foundation held a small reception in her honor. Colleagues from the program welcomed her with snacks and kind words. Marisol Reyes hugged her and handed her a certificate, recognizing her contributions to the scholarship and voucher programs. "You've made a real difference, Lily," Marisol said. "We're grateful for your heart and hard work." Lily felt tears prick at her eyes. She thanked everyone and raised a glass of sparkling juice. "This is just the beginning," she said. "I can't wait to keep helping people in my community." Glasses clinked around her, and she felt an outpouring of warmth and support. In the weeks that followed, Lily settled into a new rhythm. She reduced her diner shifts to focus on a full-time position at the Sinclair Foundation. The stipend had given her the freedom to make this choice. She still wore her old uniform sometimes when she visited the diner, where she remained a beloved friend to the staff and customers. The kitchen cook offered her free coffee on days she came by, and the janitor still greeted her with a knowing nod. Lily cherished those connections because they reminded her where she started. Mia continued to visit the diner, always greeting Lily with a hug and offering her homemade cookies. Lily placed a cookie on her desk at the foundation and took a bite. Whenever she felt overwhelmed by paperwork, the sweet taste brought back memories of friendship and kindness, the same feelings that had changed both their lives. Mia sometimes joined Lily at the office, helping to stuff envelopes for mailing or folding brochures. Donovan arranged for Mia's after-school reading club to hold meetings at the foundation's conference room. Together, they watched Mia's confidence grow as she read aloud to younger children. One autumn afternoon, Lily walked past a bulletin board in the foundation hallway. A new poster announced a partnership with the local college to offer free classes on community organizing. She smiled, remembering her own journey. She had come full circle from diner waitress to college graduate to nonprofit professional because someone saw her worth. She reached out and touched the poster. She felt a gentle thrill of excitement, imagining how many lives this program could change. That night, Lily returned to her apartment and found Miguel waiting with a cup of tea. He set it on the table and said, "I heard about the new classes. You'll teach them, won't you?" Lily sipped the tea, warmth spreading through her body. "I'd love to," she said. "Everyone deserves a chance to learn and grow." Miguel smiled and raised his mug in a toast. "To new beginnings," he said. Lily lifted her mug. "To new beginnings," she echoed, her voice strong and hopeful. She gazed out the window at the city lights, thinking of the future. She saw possibilities programs to help seniors, food drives for families in need, scholarships for single parents. She imagined her own nonprofit one day built on compassion and community. And she knew that every idea would start with a simple act of kindness, just like the sandwich she offered a hungry little girl months ago. As she drifted to sleep that night, Lily felt content. her life had changed in ways she never imagined. She still remembered her first day at the diner, the simple uniform, the paper bag lunch, and the hope in Mia's eyes.